Review copy provided by Nintendo. All opinions are mine and mine alone. We've got 306 big purple flower coins collected across 131 levels, 224 Wonder Seeds found or purchased, 89 flagpole tippy tops touched, 24 game-changing badges found, 144 standees for the online mode purchased, 8 worlds fully explored, including the Starter Island, Petal Island, and the unlockable special world, 162 opaque green circles and check marks collected, indicating that I did everything I could across any given course, big or small, even the larger worlds, all done. 99,999 online friendly heart points collected from playing online and multiplayer with all different walks of life. And all this took me roughly 13 hours of total playtime. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist, where we don't just beat the games, we complete them. And this week, it's a special one, nay, a wondrous one. It's Super Mario Wonder time, everyone. It should come as no surprise that this game is a non-stop joy parade that is extremely compelling to complete. This might be my favorite time of year. This is my Super Bowl when it comes to these types of games. From top to bottom, this game bursts with signature creativity and incredible design that makes Nintendo, well, Nintendo. It is easy for me to say that this game gets my completionist rating of completed. Just accept this thing real quick. As far as completing the game goes, there are a few things that I'm not happy about. The fact that there's limited variety of bosses, the fact that there's only a few new power-ups, and the fact that completing the game, whether it be getting every single level beaten or thing collected, aside from a couple of things like check marks and indications, you don't get a lot for completing it. With that said, I still recommend to complete it because this game is fantastic. With that said, all negatives out of the way, let's go.
Yes! All glory goes to the winner. Game over. Wake up! Last one standing wins.
When you give the most creative developers on the planet free reign to do whatever they want within the confines of a Mario game, and then don't give them a deadline. Just let them create and iterate and experiment, and most importantly, have fun. What do you get? Wonder. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is what happens. Nintendo and creativity have always gone hand in hand, no argument there. But new Mario games don't exactly grow on trees. For recent 2D Mario games specifically, you have the new Super Mario Bros. Series, including U and U Deluxe. And there's something to be said and argued when it comes to Super Mario 3D Land or Super Mario 3D World. Both games are 3D and include lots of platforming that happens to be 2D, but it's also 3D, so you kind of decide. On the other end of the spectrum is Super Mario Maker and Super Mario Maker 2, which incorporates all of Mario's history. Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, World, U, and 3D World. New Super Mario Bros. Was all about trying to recapture what made side-scrolling Mario games fun in the first place, and bringing that fun to a new generation. I'd say successfully, but the series has its detractors. Mario Maker gave players the freedom to make their own Mario courses in all kinds of different styles, but Super Mario Bros. Wonder is the first totally new 2D Mario game for a home console in nearly 11 years. Within seconds of playing it, it is easy to understand why Nintendo is still one of the best at this. This game is what it looks like when masters of their craft are given free reign to improvise within a very well-known framework. It's also almost unfair to compare game development on this game with others of its type. Nintendo has a super deep bench of world-class designers and developers, but there are a few interesting things to note about the creation of Wonder. The core team was a potent mix of developers, people who worked on the original NES Super Mario Bros., others who were integral to Mario's 3D adventures, and newer staff who grew up playing the games developed by by their team members. The result is a game that feels fresh and familiar at the same time, as only a Mario game can. I don't need to go on and on singing about Nintendo's praises. That's what YouTubers have been doing for years anyways. The year 2023 is notable not only for the incredible games released so far, but for the large amount of industry upheaval as well. It is encouraging to see a developer that deeply values staff retention and maintaining relationships. Games like this are only possible when the trust is there on the design side. In a Game Informer interview, Shigeru Miyamoto talked about why people still find Mario compelling, even after over 3 decades. To me, it's also a clue to what the developers were constantly thinking about as they worked on Wonder.
When that intuitive and direct connection happens, then people are encouraged to say, I want to try this. I want to go there. I want to challenge this. And then, through that, they are rewarded with other gameplay experiences. That feedback it creates, I think that's the kind of gameplay that Mario is. And this is probably why it can be so appealing to so many different people across both ages, but also across cultures and countries.
See, it's all about creating memorable gameplay experiences, and Wonder delivers them over and over again. The entire design goal of this game, according to producer Takashi Tezuka, was to create moments that even modern players would find unexpected and wondrous. That's a tall order, especially for completionists. Can this game really remain satisfying and delightful for people like me who want to do everything? Yes, it totally does. It does that, yes. At the end of the day, completing Super Mario Bros. Wonder still feels similar to completing really any other Mario game, because it is one. But it also feels refreshing even for people who complete every new Mario game that comes down the pipe. This one feels new even from the very beginning by putting players in a whole new world. Mario, Luigi, Peach, Daisy, a couple of different colored Toads, Toadette, various Yoshis, and Nabbit have arrived in the Flower Kingdom, which is just a short hop away from the Mushroom Kingdom. By the way, how fun and simple is it that they're in the Flower Kingdom? Like, of course, it's next to the Mushroom Kingdom. I love that. The crew's hanging out with the caterpillar Prince Florian, when who should show up but Bowser himself, along with Kamek and Bowser Jr. to cause trouble and wreak havoc. Bowser absorbs some wonder power, transforms himself into a flying castle, and starts planning on how he's going to use Wonder to take over the kingdom. There we have it. It's up to our friends to gather royal seeds from all over the Flower Kingdom and stop Bowser and his various minions. Familiar setup, of course, but the thing Super Mario Bros. Wonder does best is throw all of your expectations out the window immediately. Even though completing this game may seem like something you've done many times before, it's the execution that makes Wonder something incredibly special. Completion of Super Mario Bros. Wonder basically has 6 components, denoted by medals or ribbons that appear on your save file. You earn these medals by not only beating every course and making it to the end of the game, but by finding hundreds of collectibles and perfectly executing dozens of platforming challenges. The Flower Kingdom is divided into several worlds. Within each world are several courses, and every course has collectibles. Standard gold coins, 3 big purple 10-coin collectibles, and a couple of Wonder Seeds. You find Wonder Seeds by finishing the course or by finding a Wonder Flower within that course. And the Wonder Flowers are the true stars of Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Each flower does something totally unexpected to transform the stage and play experience in a meaningful way. Your character might transform, or the level itself might change, or maybe the perspective shifts entirely and you find yourself no longer playing a 2D platformer. Wonder Flowers are incredible feats of innovation, but they're not the only things that determine completion. In each course, you also have to touch the top of the flagpole that marks the end of the stage. It doesn't matter who you play as, they all run and jump the same, except for Yoshi and Nabbit. And both Yoshi and Nabbit are invincible outside of falling down pits. Nabbit, however, also has the bonus advantage of no knockback. The trade-off is that neither Yoshi or Nabbit can use any power-ups they find, meaning that you may find yourself locked out of certain challenges that require one of the new abilities to reach. Outside of the main collectibles in the courses, there are badges, which Prince Florian can equip to help players. Prince Florian is going with you on this journey. It's like if Princess Peach came with you, but not as a playable character, but as an assist or something. Badges can be purchased from Poplin shops or earned in special badge mastery stages. There's one other collectible, standees. Standees can be purchased with purple coins at any shop. They don't directly affect gameplay. You use them for Wonder's online functionality to drop like notes for people to see, but in every other case, it's more like a checkpoint for other players. There are 144 standees and they're very easy to purchase. The only problem is that you can buy doubles unless you pay more coins at a specific shop later on in the game. And then there's the special world, kind of a greatest hits of platforming that some people may find extremely challenging. But for me, it was Tuesday. It's good that there are many playable characters because this game supports multiplayer in a very large way. Unlike the new Super Mario Bros. Series, you can't directly mess with your allies in Wonder. There's local co-op and online play. And they are similar, but there are some distinctions to be made from the new series. No collision physics, no dangers of being tossed off into a pit or bopped around. You can take items from other players in Wonder, and that's about it. And it's a change for the better in my opinion. In all cases, multiplayer is chaotic, crazy fun with none of that old frustration. And the only frustration that does exist is within the camera, aka who is the player that's controlling the screen. However, playing online multiplayer mode can make finding secrets way easier and gives you a massive advantage in some stages. This is also the only way to collect a new currency in the game called heart points. I wanted to max out the amount of heart points you can possibly collect to 99,999 just to see if the game would give me anything for doing so. Even if you play the entire game online as the invincible Nabbit, there are no restrictions on completion. Every course and special stage has an opaque green check mark that appears once you've done everything there is to do. It's the true mark of completion. It's a daunting task, but when a game is as non-stop inventive as Wonder, you'll be on the edge of your seat the entire journey. You might be saying to yourself, Gerard, all that stuff sounds great. I love Mario games. I love completing stuff. Everything you just described sounds like I've done everything before in other games. What makes this one so special, Gerard? My answer? Everything. Super Mario Bros. Wonder takes the standard Mario playbook, rips it up, reassembles it, flips it upside down, and then writes a whole new novel. There are mechanics in this game that appear for a single stage that other developers might have built an entire game around. By constantly throwing something new and novel at the player, the experience is endlessly satisfying, even when you're chasing down that 100% completion dragon. The core of any Mario platformer is in the fundamentals: running, jumping, and finding secrets. This is the base that Wonder stands firm on from the original Super Mario Bros. Game until now. Wonder presents familiar mechanics and ideas and tweaks them until they feel new. The running and jumping in this game are perfectly tuned. I would argue that Super Mario Bros. Wonder feels more new than New Super Mario Bros. Ever did. And not just because new is in the title, or that the title is old. Players can wall jump, ground pound, dash, carry enemies and items, short hop, and spin hop. They're standard Mario moves. You've seen them a million times before, but they feel incredible here. I honestly don't think movement and momentum in a 2D Mario title has felt this satisfying since Super Mario World on the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I know, it's a big claim, but I mean it in the best way possible. The DNA of Wonder is basically all the best parts of your favorite platforming games, plus a little extra. Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Galaxy, Odyssey, they're all here in spirit. Wonder feels completely bursting with content and novelty, but never feels overwhelming. And even though Wonder truly tries to top itself with every new course, it's also a rock-solid platformer at its core. All right, I've teased it long enough. It's time to talk about Wonder Flowers. These little plants are the key to what makes the design of Wonder so special. Every course has a Wonder Flower to find and touch. Once the player interacts with the Wonder Flower, all bets are off. Seriously, anything can happen on that stage. Mario may suddenly stretch until he's as tall as the ceiling, color palettes swap to shift to dark shadows. The perspective may shift, turning the stage from 2D side-scroller to a top-down maze. You may be flung from a stormy sky, suddenly having to navigate lightning bolts and windswept Koopas. Sometimes the stage changes so much that the original flagpole that you were trying to get to gets destroyed, and you have to play the course again to beat it the original way without grabbing the Wonder Flower. And sometimes a Wonder Flower doesn't even do anything nefarious. Take the second course in the game, Piranha Plants on Parade. When you touch the Wonder Flower in this stage, you're basically treated to an adorable music video starring piranha plants the mountains in the background, and whenever players are on the screen at the time. There are player transformations where you suddenly have to contend with navigating as a Goomba for a course. Some flowers put in an extremely hazardous enemy-filled environment, but also shower you with superstars and just tell you to have at it. You never know until you collect the flower what will happen, but if you make it through the challenge, you're rewarded with a Wonder Seed. Wonder Flowers add a heavy dose of surrealism to the Mario formula, and they mesh perfectly with the design goals of the developers. But even if this game had no Wonder Flowers, I still think it would be among the most satisfying Mario games to play. The level design is as good as it's ever been, if not better, and the new power-ups allow for some amazing new ideas to flourish. There are 4 power-ups that you can find in blocks in Wonder. You already know the Fire Flower, which has been a staple for the series since the very beginning. You can turn into a drill again, though it's a little different than in the Galaxy games. The new items are the Bubble Flower and the Elephant Fruit. These completely change how you play with some new mechanics never before seen in the series. The drill cap may look a little familiar, but it's still awesome. It's not quite the same as the Galaxy series, but here it defines its own path. Wearing this means you're protected from attacks that come from above. Better than that is the ability to drill into the earth from above or below, turning Mario and his friends into fast-traveling mole people. You can squeeze into tight spaces or bypass enemies, finding all kinds of secret areas or new ways to interpret a challenge. The Bubble Flower lets your character shoot bubbles straight ahead. You can defeat most enemies with bubbles, but the coolest part is that you can jump on the bubbles you create and reach brand new heights. Skilled players can use bubbles to do some crazy stuff. I also love the palette swap when you grab a Bubble Flower. I swear I've seen those outfits before in a Smash game. The Elephant Fruit is an instantly iconic transformation power-up. I mean, it's on the box art, right? And quite honestly, it's the biggest talking point to everyone who's tuning into the game for the first time. Grabbing one of these turns your character into an elephant and gives you several new abilities. You can smack enemies and blocks with your trunk, opening up a whole world of possibilities. You can also fill your trunk with water and spray flowers or anything else you want. Also, elephants are big with huge hitboxes, and this game accounts for that. You'll find hidden blocks more easily, and honestly, I think certain precise platforming sections feel easier as well. My only problem with the Elephant Fruit is that there isn't really a stage or two that exemplifies the uniqueness of what the elephant suit is for. No stage really requires it aside from maybe 1 or 2 side stages to find a secret exit. And even at that, there are more solutions you can use without using that suit. So I'm kind of disappointed in how you use the elephant suit. I would have loved a Wonder Flower that really utilized that suit in some way, shape, or form. Mastering each new power-up is essential for completion. Some purple 10 coins or Wonder Flowers can only be reached in drill form, for example. And being a big-ass elephant means using your abilities to attack sideways, something that is otherwise impossible without kicking nearby shells or relying on a destructive enemy. But these new forms aren't the end of the inventiveness of the designers. The badge system is incredible and something I hope Nintendo continues to iterate on in any future 2D platforming Mario game. The game wants players to experiment with all the badges, and I encourage you all to do so if you play the game. The first one you find is the parachute cap, which lets you glide gracefully through the air, and the badges only get more interesting and more inventive from there. Some badges give passive abilities like the sensor badge, which pulses faster the closer you are to a wonder item or other secret. Very helpful for completionists. Others are more active, like granting the player a freaking vine grappling hook or a boosted spin jump. These are great for player expression. More choices for how to play are always welcome. And if you want to challenge yourself, you can try some of the expert badges. One even turns your character literally invisible, making platforming way confusing. Overall, this system is a great way to keep gameplay fresh, and completionists will have to use almost every one at least once in specific badge challenge stages. All of the courses and worlds are extremely well designed, but I want to celebrate the break time stages. These are almost like bonus levels that unlock after you complete certain areas. Break time stages feel like celebrations and occasionally nostalgic throwbacks. They aren't hard to finish at all, but I appreciated every musical reference that was thrown my way. Between the power-ups, badges, and Wonder Flowers, Mario has never felt more innovative. The execution of all these mechanical shifts is exceptional. If that was all Super Mario Bros. Wonder focused on, it would be a masterpiece and a triumph. Nintendo, however, did not stop there. It's one thing to create a satisfying game mechanic, but the goal was to create wonder, and Nintendo does so. Mario games are always bursting with personality. Even the original 8-bit Super Mario Bros. Feels unique, especially among its contemporaries in the 80s. Every subsequent Mario game has brought something new to the table, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder is no exception. Wonder introduces players to a new world full of secrets and delights. But to me, the real stars of the show, and the characters that capture the essence of everything this game tries to accomplish, are the talking flowers that show up all over the place. These little guys are all voiced by actor Mick Wingert, and they're just the best. They'll offer dry commentary on whatever insane thing just happened, or cheer you on, or scream in terror, or give you a little hint towards nearby secrets. They're fun, funny, and cute without being overbearing. Yes, you can toggle their commentary on or off, but I personally never wanted to. Also, shoutouts to the Poplins, the flower people who are the main inhabitants of the Flower Kingdom. I feel like these guys are the new Toads, and they're so dang cute. You can even water them using your elephant powers if you reach the end of a course with water left in your trunk. Little touches like these show that Nintendo was thinking about every tiny detail as they worked on Wonder. The animations are incredibly expressive and always made me smile. Most times when your character enters a pipe, your character will reach out to snatch your hat like you're in Looney Tunes. It feels like there's also a greater variety of enemies in this game than in previous Mario titles, and they're more memorable than ever before thanks to the expressions and behavior changes. One moment, Goombas are taking a nap, minding their own business, and then you wake them up, and they'll show that shock and surprise on their faces. They're not the only enemies to do this. Anyone from glowing rollerblading Koopas to your good old Galoombas that will mean mug Mario and friends given the chance. The whole Mario game's expressions are subtle and incredibly detailed no matter which hat they're wearing. It feels like the animators and designers made it a point to make players smile at every opportunity. And every time you beat a stage, they take a photo to remind you of said experience. Now, this overall is also a side benefit of giving everybody on the team a seat at the design table. Designing Wonder involved an idea sharing session that included not just level designers and art directors, but everyone who wanted to contribute more to the game. There were thousands of ideas pitched for Wonder, and hundreds of ideas were included that came from unlikely sources like sound designers. This unique brainstorming method allows every aspect of design to shine. This might also be why the music slaps so hard in this game. I feel like it's been some time since we've had true new Mario bangers, but this soundtrack is full of them. Honestly, I wish there were even more. I especially loved the theme in Sun-Baked Desert, and the new version of the Underground theme is great. Truly, every track rules. I wish there were an unlockable music player that I could play at any given moment, which to me feels like maybe the only thing missing for completionists. Really, the only aspect of design that may not sit well for people is Mario's new voice actor, Kevin Afghani. Kevin Afghani takes up the mantle for Charles Martinet, and after controlling Mario for the bulk of my completion experience, as well as completing several Mario games, I gotta say, I think the new guy does a great job. There are definitely moments or certain line readings where you'll miss Martinet, but it's not enough to distract you or detract from the overall joy of completing this game. It might feel surreal at first to hear a new voice coming out of Mario and Luigi's mouths, especially if you're a longtime fan, but I promise you, Kevin did a fantastic job and is more than worthy. There is personality bursting off the screen in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. The design expertise is clearly felt in every animation and every hidden secret. Freaking Captain Toad is here. I knew from the moment I played this game at a preview event in New York that I would absolutely be charmed the entire time. But what I didn't expect was that the multiplayer would blow me away and make the completion experience even more memorable and enjoyable than it already is. An otherwise perfect game can be ruined by shoddily implemented online multiplayer. And in most cases, the internet in general just sometimes doesn't work on your Nintendo Switch. In the case of Super Mario Bros. Wonder, multiplayer enhances the experience for anyone who's looking for it. The way Wonder approaches multiplayer is frictionless, enticing, and joyous. It is also wildly useful from a completionist's perspective and makes being a completionist that much more enjoyable if you choose to do so. One of my gripes with the new Super Mario Bros. Series is actually the multiplayer aspect. These games have co-op and it's wild, but to me, it takes away from my enjoyment. As fun as it can be to huck your friend or brother or sister off of a cliff, doing so also makes completing a new Super Mario Bros. Game in co-op nearly impossible. You're better off completing newer Mario games in single player. But the same can't be said with Wonder. The way multiplayer is layered in is elegant and useful. You can play this game entirely in local co-op or online. Outside of a little visual chaos, there's almost no downside to doing so. When you play online with randoms, you'll see others as ghosts on the same stage. You can't bump into them or carry them or jump off of them, but you can interact with them in a number of different ways. If you play a course with other players, you can see where they are. If you fall off a cliff or get bopped by an enemy, instead of starting the course over or respawning at a checkpoint, you will turn into a literal ghost for a few seconds. If you manage to touch another player or a standee that they have dropped before the timer runs out, you will respawn in that spot exactly. No drawbacks. It's an amazing way for players to help each other on particularly difficult stages, and probably the most profound wordless online experience since Journey. One type of challenge and wonder is a search party stage, where players must look for hidden blocks or solve other puzzles to uncover a hidden wonder seed. These stages are pretty tough, but very satisfying. With friends, it becomes a fun game of charades. You all have standees, emotes, and jumping or crouching to express yourself, which leads to some fantastic or frustrating moments. Here's another example that I had where things didn't go the way that I thought they would.
Guys, follow me. I know where the last coin is. Follow me. I know you've been looking. Follow me. Yes. Look how I have the drill. You have the drill, Mario. Come on. Look, there's a sign. You see the standee? The Daisy standee right there. Come on. Come on. Look at that. She's a genius. She figured it out. She figured it out. Thank you, Peach. Unlike the Mario brothers who are back at the beginning of the stage. I've been here for 10 minutes. I put down the sign with the drill. You know I'm here. You see me spamming the emote. I'm right there. You know, yes. Mario! Mario! I'm right! Come on! Yes! Oh my God! Yeah, God! Woo!
No matter how you feel, it is extremely satisfying to help out friends online in this way. Online mode also makes completion significantly easier. In tougher difficult stages like Special World or Palaces, using standees or following a friend's path can be massively useful. You are not locked out of any completion requirement if you play this game in multiplayer mode, online or locally. The one thing to keep in mind is that you can run out of lives very quickly if you play local multiplayer on a tough course. If you're playing with 4 friends and you all fall down a pit, it takes away 1 life per player, which can add up quickly. A lot of jokes have been made during the Switch's life cycle about how Nintendo is terrible at online, and that online multiplayer games are laggy and far behind the efforts of Sony or Microsoft or Valve. I'm not here to argue otherwise. I agree with those sentiments for the most part, but I will say that I had little to no issues in my online experiences with Wonder. There's kind of a universal wholesomeness in the online Wonder community that you don't see every day. This is also where hard points come into play. Essentially, helping others gives you kudo points. Maxing out hard points can take a bit of time, and it's actually kind of painless if you've got some friends. I made a private lobby and grinded this out with a few friends from my Discord community, and it only took me about 5 to 6 hours to do. Now, yes, that is time, and it was a bit boring, but I did it for science. I did it for you guys. And sadly, I can report that you do not receive any kind of reward for having maximum heart points. Now, shoutouts to all of the Ghost players who hang out and park it in Special World, helping out those who are in need of a little boost. I had Ghosts on for a majority of the playthrough because I didn't feel like I was alone when I was completing it. It reminds me of the online players who hang out in front of boss rooms in a Souls game. People who just want to help each other out. It's a pleasant surprise to have this feature in a Mario game and have it feel somewhat rewarding. Completing Super Mario Bros. Wonder is non-stop fun. It can be challenging, and some players may find the rewards to be lackluster. But to me, the experience of playing the game makes completing it feel worth it. The fact that this game recognizes that you do so is enough for me, except the hard points. You can ignore that. I did that for science. I did it for you guys. Ignore that. It's not completion requirement. The requirements for earning all 6 profile medals are steep, but Wonder is so incredibly engaging and fun at every second that I never really thought about the climb. Completion absolutely flew by. If you just think about what it's like to complete a Mario game and apply that logic here, you're going to complete the game naturally without even trying. I tried to 100% every stage I could before moving on to the next one. Touching the top of every flagpole was never an issue. Earning every Wonder Seed was similarly satisfying. It is a joy to play every stage and engage with the Wonder Wonder Flowers, so I was happy to seek out every single one. Reaching the end of every stage rewards you with a Wonder Seed, but you also have to keep in mind that some courses have secret exits, and these can be a real challenge to uncover. However, you'll know if that stage has a secret exit because when you're in the menus, there is an opaque check mark on the stage. If you got everything and that check mark is not there, that means there's a secret exit waiting for you. Special World stages offer some of the most tough challenges in the game, but feel amazing to overcome. I will say that my decades of Mario mastery and my exposure to all of the Mario Maker stuff out there meant that I didn't struggle too much with any of these levels. Completing every Special World course unlocks the final test, maybe the coolest thing in the game. It's a super long stage that combines almost every Wonder power-up into one unforgettable experience. Feels like a victory lap, a chance for the game to remind you of all the cool Wonder experiences you had over the course of the completion. And after that, there's yet another challenge level called the final test, which essentially combines a bunch of badge mastery stages. There's a fun, goofy badge as a reward for beating the stage called the Sound Off badge. It doesn't give you anything gameplay-wise, but it's always nice to be rewarded with something that shows the developer's sense of humor. And don't forget the Wonder Seeds that are sold at the Poplin shops. Other than that, these collectibles are very easy to track. Finding the 3 purple 10 coins in the courses that have them can definitely be a challenge, but it's easy overall. The way these coins are placed forces you to think about using every tool in your toolkit. You'll also need purple coins to purchase standees, so there's extra incentive to collect them. Earning the medal for obtaining every standee is maybe the only thing in Wonder that doesn't feel super satisfying. The only way to find standees is to purchase them from a shop using purple coins, and you'll need thousands of coins to do so. I had to farm a little bit, but I used coin farming as an opportunity to increase my heart points, so it never felt like I was wasting my time. There's also a new startup screen, a Nintendo staple at this point, and you get a little check mark on your profile that indicates that you finally earned every medal. Shiro Mori, the game's director, said that one of his goals that he wanted to include was at least one element in each course that would surprise and delight players. That's a simple goal, but one that reverberates through the entire completion process. The entire Super Mario Bros. Wonder experience surprised and delighted me, and makes me even more excited for the future of Mario.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder speaks for itself. It's one of the most compelling and confidently designed games I've ever played from a studio that prioritizes game player experience. The result is a game that feels utterly fresh to complete. Whether you're a Nintendo fan from cradle to grave, or if this is your first time playing a Mario title, there's plenty to love here. So, with that in mind, guys, I give Super Mario Bros. Wonder my completionist rating of completed. See you around.